ईश्वर तू परमेश्वर, तू है ईश्वर तू परमेश्वर, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा। तू श्री गणेशा तू ब्रह्मांड, तू करुणामय तू निर्गुण, तू श्री गणेशा तू ब्रह्मांड, तू करुणामय तू निर्गुण, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा। तू जगतारक तू भवतारक, विघ्न विनाशक सिद्धि विनायक, तू जगतारक तू भवतारक, विघ्न विनाशक सिद्धि विनायक, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा। तू है भवानी भवभयहारिणी, मोक्ष प्रदायिनी सहस्र स्वामिनी, तू है भवानी भवभयहारिणी, मोक्ष प्रदायिनी सहस्र स्वामिनी, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा। तू है ईश्वर तू परमेश्वर, तू है ईश्वर तू परमेश्वर, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा, हे परमानंदमा।
జై శ్రీ మాతాజీ. ప్రాతకాల ధ్యానానికి విచ్చేసినటువంటి సహజ సోదర సోదరిమణులందరికీ స్వాగతం అండి. శ్రీ నిర్మల ప్రభాత్. మనమంతా శ్రీ మాతాజీ వారి దివ్య పావన శ్రీచరణ కమలం వద్ద చిత్తాన్నుంచి శ్రీచరణ కమలములను మనం కనులారా వీక్షిద్దామండి. మన మనసులో ఏ విధమైనటువంటి ఆలోచనలు లేకుండా ఆ దివ్య శ్రీచరణ కమలములను మన హృదయంలో పదిలపరుచుకొని నెమ్మదిగా కళ్ళు మూసుకొని శ్రీమాతాజీ వారిని వేడుకుందాం. అమ్మా శ్రీమాతాజీ, ఈ ప్రాతకాలమునందు ఈ శుభ ఘడియల్లోనూ ఈ బ్రహ్మముహూర్తములందు మీ శ్రీచరణ కమలములను మా హృదయంలో ధ్యానించుకునేందుకు అనుమతిని ప్రసాదించండి తల్లి. దయచేసి మా ప్రార్థనను స్వీకరించి మమ్మల్ని అనుగ్రహించండి తల్లి. జై శ్రీ మాతాజీ. రెండు చేతులు భూమాత పైన ఉంచుకుందాం. అమ్మా శ్రీ ఆది భూలక్ష్మి, మీరు సాక్షాత్ శ్రీమన్నారాయణుని యొక్క అర్ధాంగి అయి ఉన్నారు తల్లి. ప్రాతకాలమున మేము నిద్ర లేచింది మొదలు మరలా రాత్రి 12 వరకును మా పాదములతో మిమ్మల్ని త్రాకుచున్నాం తల్లి. అయినప్పటికీ మీరు మమ్మల్ని క్షమించి మాకు అన్నీ ఉదారముగా ఇచ్చుచున్నారు తల్లి. మీకు కోటి కోటి ప్రణామములు శ్రీ ఆది భూదేవి. మేమంతా శ్రీమాతాజీ నిర్మలాదేవి వారిని ధ్యానించుకునేందుకు సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నాం తల్లి. తల్లిగా మాలో ఉన్నటువంటి అన్ని రకాల దోషాలను మీలో స్వీకరించి మీ వంతు సాయాన్ని మాకు అందించండి తల్లి. దయ చూపండి తల్లి. జై శ్రీ మాతాజీ. మనమంతా కలెక్టివ్గా శ్రీమాతాజీ వారి శ్రీచరణంలో ముందు సాష్టాంగ ప్రణామం చేసుకొని నెమ్మదిగా కొండలని జాగృత పరుచుకొని బంధన్ వేసుకుందామండి. జై శ్రీ మాతాజీ. ముందుగా మనం బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ చేసుకుందాం. ఎడమ చేయి శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపు ఉంచి కుడి చేతిని భూమాత పైన ఉంచుకుందాం. మనం వేడుకుందాం. అమ్మా శ్రీ మాతాజీ, మీరు సాక్షాత్ శ్రీ ఈడానాడి స్వామిని అయి ఉన్నారు తల్లి. దయచేసి మా శరీరం యొక్క ఎడమ భాగంలో కల అన్ని రకాల దోషాలను మా కుడి చేతి ద్వారా భూమాతలోని కలిపివేయండి తల్లి. అమ్మా శ్రీ మాతాజీ, మీ యొక్క పరమ కృపతో శ్రీ మహాకాళి మరియు శ్రీ భైరవనాథుల శక్తులతో మా ఈడానాడిని చైతన్యపరచండి తల్లి. కుడి చేయి శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపు ఉంచి ఎడమ చేయి ఆకాశం వైపు. పరమ పూజ్య శ్రీ మాతాజీ, దయచేసి మా శరీరం యొక్క కుడి భాగంలో కల అన్ని రకాల దోషాలను దయతో మా ఎడమ చేతి ద్వారా ఆకాశంలోనే కలిపివేయండి తల్లి. శ్రీ మాతాజీ దయచేసి శ్రీ మహాసరస్వతి మరియు శ్రీ హనుమాన్ శక్తులతో మా అందరి పింగళా నాడిని చైతన్యపరచండి తల్లి. రెండు చేతులు శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపు. హర్ హోలీనెస్ శ్రీ మాతాజీ దయచేసి మా సామూహికకు సమతుల్య స్థితిని ప్రసాదించండి తల్లి. అమ్మా శ్రీ మాతాజీ మీ యొక్క పరమ కృపతో మా అందరి సుషుమ్నా నాడిని శ్రీ మహాలక్ష్మి మరియు శ్రీ గణేషుని యొక్క శక్తులతో పవిత్రపరిచి చైతన్యపరచండి తల్లి. ఈ సమతుల్య స్థితిలో ఉంటూ మనమంతా ఏకకంఠంతో ప్రాతకాల ప్రార్థనని పఠిద్దామండి.
సంస్ఫురాత్మతత్వం సచ్చిత్ సుఖం పరమహంస గతిం తురీయం యత్ స్వప్న జాగర సుషుప్త భవైతి నిత్యం తద్ బ్రహ్మ నిష్కలమహం न च भूतंगा. अर्थ कळला का?
మనమంతా సంపూర్ణ చిత్తాన్ని మూలాధార చక్రం నందు ఉంచి మూడు మహామంత్రములు మరియు శ్రీ గణేష మంత్రం తీసుకుందాం.
Shri Maha
ఓంకార స్వరూప ప్రణవ స్వరూప తొలి సహజయోగి శ్రీ నిర్మల్ పుత్ర శ్రీ గణేశ, దయతో మా ప్రణామమును స్వీకరించండి తండ్రి. మా శ్రీమాతాజీ, యథార్థమునకు మీరు సాక్షాత్ శ్రీ గణేశులై ఉన్నారు తల్లి. దయచేసి మా అందరి మూలాధార చక్రాన్ని చైతన్యపరిచి మాలో శ్రీ గణేష్ తత్వాన్ని జాగృతపరిచి స్థిరపరచండి తల్లి. శ్రీ మాతాజీ, ప్లీజ్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ శ్రీ గణేష విత్ ఇన్ us. అమ్మా, దయతో శ్రీ గణేషుని యొక్క గుణములను మాకు ప్రసాదించండి తల్లి. థ్యాంక్ యూ శ్రీ మాతాజీ. ఎడమ చెయ్యి శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపు, కుడి చెయ్యి మధ్య నాభి చక్రం పైన. శ్రీ మాతాజీని ఈ విధంగా ప్రార్థిద్దాం. అమ్మా శ్రీ మాతాజీ, మీరు సాక్షాత్ శ్రీ లక్ష్మీనారాయణ అయి ఉన్నారు తల్లి. అమ్మా శ్రీ ఆది మహాలక్ష్మి, దయచేసి మాలో ఉన్నటువంటి లక్ష్మీ తత్వాన్ని శ్రీ మహాలక్ష్మి తత్వంగా అనుగ్రహించండి తల్లి. అమ్మా శ్రీ సంతృప్తి ప్రదాయిని, మా పైన దయ చూపండి తల్లి. థ్యాంక్ యూ శ్రీ మాతాజీ. ఎడమ చేతిని శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపే ఉంచి కుడి చేతిని నుదుట భాగం పైన ఉంచుకుందాం. శ్రీ మాతాజీ, నిశ్చయముగా మీరు శ్రీ జీసస్ మేరీ మాత అయి ఉన్నారు తల్లి. మీ రక్తముతో మా పాపములను కడిగి మమ్ములను పవిత్రులు చేశారు తల్లి. తెలిసి తెలియక మేము ఎటువంటి తప్పు చేసినా దయచేసి మమ్మలను క్షమించండి తల్లి. మీ దయ వలన మమ్మలను మేము క్షమించుకున్నామమ్మా. మీ యొక్క పరమ కృప వల్ల మేము అందరినీ క్షమించాం తల్లి. శ్రీ క్షమాదాత్రి. తెలిసి తెలియక మేము చేసిన తప్పిదములకు దయతో మమ్మలను క్షమించండి తల్లి. రెండు చేతులు శ్రీ మాతాజీ వైపు, చిత్తము సహస్రారమునందు. శ్రీ మాతాజీని మనమంతా కలిసికట్టుగా వేడుకుందాం. అమ్మా శ్రీ జగన్మాత, శ్రీ పరమేశ్వరి, శ్రీ సహస్రార స్వామిని ఏ దేవీ దేవతలు కూడా చేయలేంది మీరు చేశారు తల్లి. మా అందరి సహస్రారములు తెరిచి మాకు పునర్జన్మ ఇచ్చి ఉన్నారు తల్లి. అందుకు గాను మేమెంతో రుణపడి ఉన్నాం తల్లి. దయచేసి మాకు నిర్విచార స్థితిని ప్రసాదించి పరమాత్ముని యొక్క పరమ చైతన్య శక్తిని రుచి చూపించండి తల్లి. కొన్ని నిమిషాల పాటు నిశ్శబ్ద ధ్యానం. ఇదే స్థితిలో ఉంటూ శ్రీమాతాజీ వారి యొక్క అమృత వాక్కును సహస్రారం గుండా ఆస్వాదిద్దాం.
So today is a day according to Indian calendar called as Parivartani Ekadashi. Now today is the 11th day of the moon. 11th day is Ekadashi. Also in Sahaja you know about Ekadasha Rudra, which is here, which will ultimately destroy all those things which are not required anymore. That is Ekadashi here. That's the 11th. But today is a special day where we are going to use the power of Ekadasha to do the parivartan, means the transformation. It is not for destruction but for transformation. It's such a day to be here in New York where we use the destructive powers for the transformation of humanity. So it's a very great day today that we are going to transform people by the manifestation of the Ekadasha powers. And they are 11 placed over your forehead here, and you know how they work out. So these 10 come out of destructive powers of the world. World has got 10 destructive powers also. Out of those 10, the destructive part settles down here. So when a person is on his destruction, say for example a cancer is setting, then you might feel a throb here at the apex of your world, the throb. And it doesn't logically means that if there's a throb there's a cancer. But if there's a cancer there will be a throbbing here going on. That means the force of life is trying to push it. But the obstruction there starts accumulating on both the sides. And in the center is the center of Vishuddhi, of the Virat, where Shri Krishna has become the Virat, the great primordial. So this is the 11th part of destruction. He has a power called Samhara Shakti by which he kills people. So before killing them and finishing them off, in the compassion of your mother, we have to first try to transform them. If they cannot be transformed, then it's all right. Then Ekadasha takes over. So these 11 very great destructive powers will be used by the Kalaki, the one who is going to manifest on a white horse. Before that, today is a very great day, that these powers we are going to use for transformation. Now how can destructive powers be used for transformation? First of all, when people know that there are destructive powers manifesting, they start fearing. They get afraid that we will be destroyed, so we must take to God. That's one of the ways. Secondly, if a person comes to know about any destructive disease like cancer, He wants to find out a method. And there is no method available on a human level. So then he thinks of God and wants to come nearer. The fear brings him closer to God. He depends on God more than on his rationality, than on his ego or something. And he wants to depend on God's powers to cure him or to save him from this destruction. Because he is now on the brink of destruction. As soon as cancer is set in, he knows that there's no end to it and he has to be destroyed. So this is another way people take to transformation, to change their attitudes, to change their value systems. I have known of many husbands or wives who got cancer and their counterparts became very mild, gentle, kindly, romantic. They tried to give all the love, all the protection, all the good things to a person who is going to die now of Ekadashi. So a kind of a transforming temperament starts coming in a man, that he sees that the person with whom he has lived all his life is now going to be no more. So a kind of beautiful feelings towards the person of giving whatever you have beautiful within you starts, and that's how people develop another kind of personality which was never apparent before. So all the harshness and the aggressiveness drops out and all the sweetness starts pouring in. So the compassion in a man is awakened, by which he gets transformed. Many people who lost their relations, kith and kin, become much more gentle, kindlier people, because Ekadasha has expressed its all. And also another kind of a fear comes into the mind of the people, that tomorrow this can happen to me also. So I must do something about it. So at this time, Sahaja Yoga helps them a lot. They come to Sahaja Yoga because such an emergency is created within themselves. And thus they are rushed for their transformation to Sahaja Yoga. But there's another subtler way this destructive force helps us. By destroying all that is negative within us. Because unless and until that negative is destroyed within us, we cannot become people who can enter into the kingdom of God. We have our ego, we have our superego, and both can be represented here. When you have your ego, very much great ego, then you will find a big blob like ego coming out on this side, a very big one here. Or if you have a superego, you can see another big thing jetting out on the brain here. So on both the sides you might get both the things if both the sympathetic are overactive. If you are not a very collective person, also you might get a blob here. So you might get all the things filled up with your ego, superego, and this Virata's center again blown up. In a way that a person develops a face like a monster sometimes. This portion becomes too big, thick, jutting out. And there's a character I've seen like that. I think it is Frankenstein or someone. Is it? Yeah, Frankenstein. Yes, that has come from the unconscious, the Frankenstein character. All this is swollen up, jutting out, and this place like that. That's really the one that happens to human beings when he becomes a devil himself. So this is how the Ekadasha works within us to destroy our negativity within us. In India, so many people fast on this for atonement. On the 11th day, it's very common. You must do Ekadashi. All the Hindus and all these people do Ekadashi. That is, the 11th day they don't eat anything at all. But you shouldn't do it after the advent of your mother. Because I am the Ekadasha myself. So why should you do it now when I've come? It was done when I was not here just to call me. So now I'm back here. You need not do this anymore, the penance of Ekadasha. But you have to be careful. Now Ekadasha comes, as I told you, from the void. So firstly it comes when you accept someone as your guru. Say, who are false, who are anti-God, anti-Christ. So you develop a kind of a thickness on this side when it is the person whom you are worshipping as a guru or respecting as a guru, who is a guru to you, who is not really. So you develop a super ego which shows on this side, this part. Now the other side of it shows when a person says, I am my own guru, I'm practicing my own meditation, I have nothing to do with anybody's guidance, I'm quite alright as I am. Such a person develops the other half. So you have this half developed because of that, and this half developed because of the superego that you get through these false and fake gurus. Now what happens sometimes, that when you get involved into this kind of superego behavior, at that time, it so happens that you might take over from them and start using it for your ego. That's the worst time for you. At that time, what you do is to act like the devils yourself. And once you start doing that, your Ekadasha is completely finished. And then I don't think it's easy to get rid of it. It's very difficult. But if it is one-sided, it's much easier. So today is the day which is called as the Ekadasha, which is going to bring the transformation. When you are transformed, so many things are automatically destroyed within you. As you can see very clearly, that all your misidentifications drop out. The misidentification that I am an American, that I am a Christian, or I am a Jew, I am this, I am that, all these false misidentifications drop. And you become a naked human being. First of all, you are a human being, and then a superhuman being without the ego. Without the ego. So your ego is destroyed, your superego is destroyed, your conditionings are destroyed, and all your false ideas about knowledge are destroyed. So what remains and emerges out is the reality. Now see, when a flower becomes a fruit, everything practically drops out of the flower, we can say. Like the calyx is dropped out, then the petals are dropped out, and then the apicalyx is there, that is also dropped out. But what remains is the seed.
Don't put them there.
Actually, if you see, around the seed all these things develop and the fruit remains, the rest of it drops. In some fruits, some part is used, in some fruits, nothing is used, a very little fruit comes out as fruit and becomes the fruit while the flowers are. So in us also, whatever becomes spirit remains, the rest drops. And that is what it is when we call it the Ekadasha, which brings forth the transformation. And one has to understand we have to drop out. Many things. Some people I've seen, they say, what's wrong? I'm smoking, still my vibrations are wrong. Some say, what's wrong? I'm drinking, still my vibrations are wrong. I'm going to this guru, still my vibrations are there. I'm having the same type of licentious life, still my vibrations are there. Now it goes a very long way. Vibrations are still there. But suddenly they stop and you find you are out of bounds. You are thrown out completely. But you do not feel how you are thrown out. Gradually find with a tangent you go out. And so one has to be careful about that. So within us lies a force which is centrifugal and a force that is centripetal. So Ekadasha's force is centrifugal by which we are thrown out. Sahaja Yoga doesn't fall onto anybody's feet. Doesn't request anyone. It doesn't flatter anyone. If you want to be there, you have to be positively there. And if you don't want to be there, it throws you much faster than what you want. That's the trouble with Sahaja Yoga is. And this is the loophole of the Sahaja Yoga, which I must tell you as a mother, that it's very anxious to throw you up. I'll tell you, when Christine, just now she told me also, got engaged to Michael, half of them were thrown out because they had a conception that you must have a romance before marriage. Without a romance, if you have a marriage, then there should be no marriage. I don't know on what conception it is based. But if you have the romance before the marriage, what's the fun of having the marriage? I mean, it's like if you have to give somebody a present, you hide it, you say keep it to that date, and then give the surprise to the children. In the same way, if you have the romance already done, what's the marriage? What's the celebration for? It's absolutely illogical. There is no romance in such cases. Actually, you have seen that after the romance, the marriage and the divorce. It's always like that. Because you become stale and you find the romance you had before marriage was something, a fantasy that has dropped out. And now, after marriage, there is nothing left to enjoy. So you are fed up and next month you are in the divorce. But the marriages that take place without the romance, kept all reserved for a particular day. Just for that day when you are going to have the real romance and real feeling of oneness. Everything. In India it's a very big thing, you see, the first night of the marriage. And that's why our marriages last. You know, I would say I'm an old woman of 60 years, my husband 63 years, and you can see how romantic he is still. You see, the romance never finishes. Because it starts on an auspicious day, with the sanction of the collectivity, everybody taking interest in that romance. It is such a big thing to be married, all the people enjoying the marriage and enjoy.
Would you like some fruit butter? Would you like some fruit butter?
No, thank you. That's it. So now, this kind of thing when happens to the people who are Western people, think romance is very important. But I don't think one can learn anything from the marriage system of the Western people, because all their marriage system is absolutely in a dwindling down. There's nothing to be learned from them as far as that. We can learn many other things. For example, we can learn how to operate a camera. But to operate a marriage is better you learn from Indians. They have a very solid system of marriage. First of all, the way they are trained from childhood, how to make a marriage successful. Such a lot of importance is given. Then without the horoscope, they will not marry. Without the auspicious date, they won't marry. Everything they work out in such details so that the marriage cannot fizzle out. Moreover, it is worked in such a collective way. For example, supposing my husband wants to trouble me, say for example, so the sister of my husband will take him to task. Everybody can interfere if they try to do anything. against the marriage. Everyone in the family will be after the person who tries to break the marriage. And so everyone knows that I'll be left high and dry, you see, if I have a divorce. Nobody has place in the society. But in England when we went first, we were shocked. They had no shame about it. They said, I'm already divorced thrice. And this is the fourth woman I'm living with. So shocking for us, oh God. To us a divorce means worse than leprosy. Why are you divorced? What's the problem? How can you be divorced? Such an auspicious thing is the marriage. Such a blessing it is. It is God blessed. How can you do it? It's such a big fall. And that's how it works out. And in no way we are less than you people as married, because we can produce much more children than you can produce. And children only want to be born in India, not anywhere else. You'll be surprised. That's the problem we are facing. Our population problem comes from the point that the marriages are so successful, the people are so peaceful, that children hate to be married in nightmares of New York. Naturally, because you don't know where will be the mother tomorrow and where will be the father. Now we are blamed for a high rate of fertility, but what to do? Children don't listen. They don't want to go to all such places where there's no stability for them to exist. Especially the realized children, if they are of a very high quality, they have to be like daredevils to get into this thing. So they may try. Or maybe the real devils take advantage of it. But normally, people who want peace in life, who want joy in life and the love of their parents want to be born in India. And that's why recently you'll find that India is growing so fast in population that we don't know what to do. So this marriage system came in, which shocked them because they couldn't understand there has to be a romance and this and that. Now the more understanding of Ekadasha should be there, that we should not allow it to be built within us in any way, because these are self-destroying things. It starts with doubting. When you start doubting Sahaja, the build-up starts. And the doubting starts building up throughout the Medha. Is the plate here, you see. And it can become a thick, big plate there. Like today I saw that lady saying, touch wood. You see, touch wood means this wood. You see, touch wood means there should be no wood here anymore, you see. Or you can say touch stone. If you say something like a bragging, you say, no, touch wood. I am not meaning that. I mean, people are quite conscious. Unconsciously they say, but they are quite conscious not to say something that would sort of give an idea of boastful nature or something bragging or something big, so that it may go wrong. So they say touch wood, this is the wood. You say Ekadasha Devi. So we are quite conscious of this force building within us, and now we have to be conscious that this force is going to transform. So today we are going to pray that this force has to transform America through its capacity to frighten people so that they come to Sahaja. Because when things have reached this stage of ego, then when people say, what's wrong? Like in England, when I started talking first, they said this is Victorian woman out of date, absolutely useless. So I said, all right, I don't say anything, but you will have such diseases that you'll have to come back. That was the time they passed the law that homosexuality should be allowed, permissiveness should be allowed, and all these things should be allowed. And now you have it. You have it now here, already operating. Now the AIDS have given the fear of the Ekadasha. Now have it. What's wrong? What about that? So this awe and this fear is very important. It's an extremely important thing that we must have the awe and the fear that God is Almighty and we are nothing before. Here we have to remember that we are part and parcel of that God, and that we have to awaken ourselves to the consciousness that He is the whole and we have become one with the whole. That's how we are going to overcome our Ekadasha. So today I bless you all with the power of Ekadasha, which is going to transform. May God bless you all in your work which you are trying to do for the good of Americans. It is your responsibility to save America. You know it is a Vishuddhi Chakra and all the responsibility of Sahaja Yoga rests on Vishuddhi Chakra. So how important it is that the transformation is to take place. Unless and until the transformation comes in, you will see it will not work out. You cannot talk to people, you cannot communicate with them. So you must pray that transformation process must start, must trigger and must gallop and must go on spreading like wildfire. This should be our prayer today. May God bless you. May God bless you. Tata Pujan kya? And this sets in when Shiva is angry. Because Shiva is the real Rudra. And his powers are given to Ekadashi. Shiva is the real ultimate dissolution. He is the one who will dissolve the whole world. But he gives these 11 powers of destruction. He has 12 powers, out of which one he keeps to himself for the ultimate and 11 he gives to Ekadashi. And when that happens, the Ekadash starts acting in human beings. So today I was thinking that we'll have first Ganesh Pujan and then Rudrabhishek.
మా శ్రీమాతజీ, ఈరోజు మా స్వామితకు ఇంతటి సౌభాగ్యాన్ని కలిగించారు తల్లి. ఎన్నో విషయములు తెలియపరిచారు తల్లి. మీకు కోటి కోటి ప్రణామములు శ్రీమాతాజీ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ శ్రీమాతాజీ. అమ్మా శ్రీ క్షమాదాత్రి, ఈ ప్రాతకాలమునందు జరిగినటువంటి ధ్యానంలో మాచే తెలిసి కానీ తెలియక కానీ ఎటువంటి పొరపాటు జరిగి ఉన్నా దయతో మన్నించి మమ్మల్ని క్షమించండి తల్లి. పరమ పూజ శ్రీమాతాజీ, దయచేసి మా సామూహికకు ఆధ్యాత్మిక ఉన్నతిని అనుగ్రహించండి తల్లి. అన్యదా శరణం నాస్తి, త్వమేవ శరణం మమ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ శ్రీమాతాజీ. అనేక్ కృపా ఆప్కి, అనేక్ కృపా ఆప్కి. జై శ్రీమాతాజీ. మనమంతా కలెక్టివ్గా సాష్టాంగ ప్రణామం చేసుకొని నెమ్మదిగా బంధన్ వేసుకుందామండి. జై శ్రీమాతాజీ. ప్రాతకాల ధ్యానానికి హాజరైనటువంటి సహజ యోగ సోదర సోదరిమణులందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. ఇంతటితో ధ్యానాన్ని ముగించుకుందామండి. మరలా సాయంత్రం 8 గంటలకు సాయంకాలం ధ్యానానికి సమయానికి మనమంతా లాగిన్ అవుదామండి. మరికొంతసేపు సహజ మ్యూజిక్ ప్రసారం అవుతుంది. అందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు. హ్యావ్ ఎ నిర్మల్ డే. జై శ్రీమాతాజీ.
Mm-hmm.